Why, hello everybody. So, today we're going to talk about Gloom and a variant I play of it. I think Gloom is a great game, a great story game, and but I personally also like battle games. I used to play miniature games a lot, big battles and everything. And I just one day I just decided to mix the two. So basically, I call this Gloom Battles. Basically it's a story game that you just, instead of telling a story of how the family died horribly, you are describing a battle and all the reasons why the commanders moved this way, or this unit moved that way, or the special attack they had. Now the reason why you're seeing the Cthulhu Gloom family is cards is because well, my brother just got Cthulhu Gloom, and it's also still a great game. Admittedly, you need to know the Cthulhu mythos somewhat to make sense of some of the cards, but still a great game, and I do like Cthulhu quite a bit. So let's get the game itself. The first thing that you see is the miniatures, all right, and this is absolutely optional. You don't have to do this at all, but I feel it really adds to the theme, and I got a ton of miniatures, so I always just like to take them out, display them myself, and just like I say, you can give so much more description to the units in a story game if you have something physical to look at. And also that the pictures on Gloom and all that's a bit cartoony, so if you want to take the battle somewhat more seriously, you can put miniatures there. So first thing you do in Cthulhu Gloom, Gloom Battles, is you would put out your family, and then you set up your cards, all right, in battle formation. And a lot of these things are optional, but I like to give each of the armies a description. For example, this is my Chinese undead army, and led by the necromancer, and he has the undead, like a tank unit, that samurai, undead samurai unit, which are like giants. So you got your you more European undead units, factions, led by the undead necromancer and Cthulhu, and led by with the help of Deep One units. Just give them its theme. So when you describe the story game, it's always good to have more information that people can play off. And also the important part about this is also how you want to play it, is like if whether you want to use the bottoms, or the Cthulhu cards, Gloom cards. You can see at the bottom they got all these effects and everything that you can play. Alright, and it's actually, by watching Tabletop by Will Wheaton, you see that actually, due to time constraints, he actually didn't play the bottoms and like the effects, and actually just told the stories, which actually usually is my preferred way of playing, because if you tend to have to keep track of the bottom of the cards and all that, I feel then it takes away the story, because you're actually more focused on that. But if you want special abilities for your units, actually you can just play it that way. I just prefer the story faction more. Okay, so that's the first thing you do. You set up your formation, you give a description to your faction, and then you set up, and then you begin the battle. How you choose the first player is up to you. Roll a dice, rock, paper, scissors, and then basically again we also reverse the effects. Now you have two ways of doing this. What we like to do is because you might accidentally forget, instead of, you can actually either reverse, instead of the -5, all the minuses become positives, and all the positives become negatives. So because to play a battles game and want to lose, it's kind of weird. So for example, instead of, when I play this card, or instead of giving us, you tell your story and everything, but it should be a positive. Therefore, you can play it that way. You can just reverse it, or like the way we play it as because there are more negative cards than positives, and so we play it like, actually you want to do the reverse of Gloom. You want to play negatives on your enemy, and you want to play positives on yourself. So it's always like very hard to get positives out there. Alright, other than that, it's played exactly like Gloom. Alright, so I'll give you an example of like how a basic move would be, and and I'll then explain like some caveats. Example, in this card is called rattled by rats. So you got two negatives, alright, -10, -10. So let's say I'm saying that the deep one unit, the Cthulhu deep one unit, he moves up the flanks by using his magic spell. He transports himself to the flanks, and seeing the threat of the undead samurai, decides to cast a spell of a swarm of rats that crawls into the armor of the giants and hurts them heavily for -10, -10. Of course, I would not say the -10 in the story part, but I'm giving you an example. So now that happens, alright. And here's the important part. When you give the explanation, the way I play it is that it must make sense, as far as sense of deep ones that transport by magic go. But I mean, it can be just like something like I take my let's say my cavalry and charge all the way through both these units. I mean, it has to make sense in that common sense way. That there must be a way to explain it. Man, do remember this is a story game, so don't get bogged down in that whole, oh, but if you did that, you don't have enough strength and all that. I mean, take the game lightly. It's a battle story game. Alright, so that's the way I play it. As long as it makes sense. Example, if like with this one, you can appear at the rear because he uses his transport magic spell or anything like that. So, and then you play, then he will play. For example, he says, now the giants hurt as they are, decide to take out a artifact. This is called admire alien artifact. So I would say that, like for him, I would say like, oh, they took out the magic artifact that gives them a berserk fury, and they charge into the head necromancer's unit, causing him much pain. There you see. So there you go, and that's how basically you'll keep going. Then you'll move this up to a charge, and as you can see the formations move. Now that there's a gap here, so now you can say that, for example, the next turn he moves in, that kind of thing. You see, I mean, it just gives so much more narrative for battle, and I don't know, I have a lot of fun this way. In fact, this is how I usually play Gloom now. I don't even play the normal way. And like I said, if you want to play the bottoms and all that, the bottom parts of these cards, you can definitely like use it for special effect, but just tie into the story. So basically, that's the basic game. And I hope that basically other people would try it too. And a new way to play a game with with good basic rules is always good. But like I said, don't remember this is a story game, and don't get too bogged down with the war aspect of it. Play this is just a different way of explaining story. Except this one, you can put a battle theme to it, which a lot of us are war gamers out there will definitely appreciate. So thank you very much, and till next word.